Yo, what's going on, guys? Matthew V. Haynes here, aka The Clockmaster. Right now I'm going to be giving you a spoiler-free review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So first things first, guys, I loved this movie. Did I like it more than the first one? I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to decide whether I liked which one more than the other, because the first one had a lot of elements that I love. It had some great development stuff going on. The second one was just pure absolute fun. There's one thing I can tell you about this movie is that this movie takes everything that it did in the first movie and made it 10 times more funnier. A lot of jokes, plenty of jokes throughout the entire movie. Everyone in this theater, we had a packed house, full house, all fans. You can tell it was true, genuine fans. I love going on opening night because you get surrounded by so many fans, but everyone was just laughing their butt off. Every single joke that was made, nothing fell flat at all. So they were spot on with the jokes. And then another thing too that I really loved as well was the choice in music. That's another thing that really stood out to me. Music is a very, very big part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. In the first movie, music centered everything. This whole thing that surrounds Peter Quill is music. You know, it's a gift from his mother. Things that he has to remember about where he was born. Music is what makes him who he is, essentially, really what makes him who he is. So I just love how they took that from the first movie and then brought it over to the second one and just made it all about the whole music and everything like that. So that was really good. So as usual, the cast members do a very great job with their performances. You know, of course, Chris Pratt just does perfect as Star-Lord, especially being a character that no one really knew too much before the first movie. He just really set the, defined this character now with this second movie. They took, like I said, they took a lot of things to a whole nother level in this movie. Now, this is more of like a technical thing when it comes to the movie, but they shot a lot of the majority of this movie on a red camera, and you guys don't know, it's like $15,000, $16,000 to $20,000 cameras that they use to film a lot of professional things, and I have an eye for it, and I loved how this movie looked. I would say that this is probably the best looking movie that Marvel has made so far. One of my complaints, and amongst a lot of people amongst the Marvel community, the MCU community, one of their complaints that they had, especially about Captain America Civil War, was their lack in color. It was just all dull, very desaturated images, and this movie does not have any of that. This movie is full of color, really eye-popping things that stand out and just looks beautiful on screen. Even because I watched it in IMAX and none of the stuff was cluttered. It wasn't really too much in clutter and everything like that. It was perfect for what it was. Another quick thing I just wanted to mention, since I was an since I'm an AMC Stubs Premier member, they gave away these trading cards. This is really cool. I got this really cool Drax one. Let me just focus in so you can see it. There it is. I got it to focus. So it's a really, really cool image of Drax. On the front there, Dave Bautista's character is Drax. It's really cool. Now to get me back in the frame, there you go. Cool, yeah, so they gave these things away, which I thought was really cool. All in all, guys, this movie was just fun. It was pure fun, just a great, fantastic movie. If you love the first one, you're gonna like this even more. They had a lot of cameos and a lot of Easter eggs. If you're a comic book fan, they have a lot of things in there that you will love. If you love the Guardians of the Galaxy comics and you love Marvel comics in general, there's a lot of things in this movie that you will love. Now, one of my concerns going into this movie was how they were going to pull off Ego the Living Planet. After all, he is a living planet. In the comics, you can get away with anything. The artists and the inkers and the pencilers, everyone, they do whatever they have to do in the comic books. You can kind of get away with anything. But in the movie, I find the way that they brought Ego to life on the movie was fantastic. They did a great job of drawing the planet and how everything, and I'm not going to go into spoilers about certain things, but certain elements about Ego the Living Planet was done perfectly. And then Kurt Russell also did a great job as playing Ego the Living Planet. They did it. I found the way how they brought him into the story was just fantastic. They were able to integrate it with a lot of things and made it make sense. Like everything made sense. It wasn't like you were watching and you're like, I don't really know if that makes sense or not, and I don't really know if that makes sense anymore. No, it wasn't anything like that. Now, Elizabeth Debicki, I think she played Kismet. I think that's her character, the Golden Lady. Now, that was probably one little drawback. I mean, there's, you know, I'm not gonna go too much into spoilers. The spoilers video we posted sometime over the weekend with Ryan O'Toole, but they had a lot of things with those specific golden characters. I was like, I don't know if that actually really fit into the movie, but for what it's worth, guys, you know, a lot of the comedy and a lot of the action sequences really made up for those things. Now, surprisingly, one of my favorite characters in this movie was actually Nebula. Karen Gillan's character, Nebula, I think I enjoyed her more in this movie. We got to understand her a little bit more, because in the first movie, we never really got to understand her too much. But in this movie, they did a great job of exploring more of her mind, her world, her motivations, and certain things as to why she does what she does or says, or certain things like that. So, you know, we got to know her a little bit more, and I absolutely love them for doing that. So that kind of made me more attached to Nebula. Now, while I hate to say it, I think to me personally, I would say one negative to this movie was actually Baby Groot. While I loved, yes, I know, don't start hating me, whatever, in the comments, but one of the things I loved, I mean, I love that they used Baby Groot, but I think they overused him in certain points of the movie. Like certain points where, okay, you got to a point where it's cute and funny, but then there's a certain point where it's just like, okay, it's a little bit too much. Focus on that. You know, we want to get back to the Guardians, or I can't say Groot's not part of the Guardians, but we want to get back to the actual fight and what was going on, or whatever was happening in a certain scene. So I love Baby Groot, and I loved every scene that he was in. It's just that certain scenes, they overused him a little, just a tad bit too much. Now, as villains are concerned in this movie, I would say definitely the first movie had better villain choices. They had better, more intimidating factors. This movie didn't really have a great villain, I would say, and you know, I didn't really find the villain too intimidating, to my opinion, but I guess that's why I enjoyed the movie more, because it was just a different kind of thing, you know. And as far as you get down to more technical stuff like pacing and the whole flow of everything, the pacing was fine. There was, like I said, there was no dull moment of this movie. It wasn't too boring or whatever. It was more of like, we're exploring Peter Quill's world. We're exploring what's gonna, you know, things that happened after, you know, these Guardians of the Galaxy that are now assembled as Guardians of the Galaxy. While the movie was great, the story, it felt like something was missing. You know what I mean? Like, it was great, everything was fine, but I just felt like there was just one thing missing, and I don't know what it was, but just something was just missing. It felt a little empty, like a certain part of this movie just felt empty to me. So I don't know exactly, I don't know exactly what that is, or what they could have added to change that emptiness factor that I had in the movie. But other than that, guys, as a fan, story I think was great, acting, cinematography was great. I told you the red stuff in the beginning was perfect. I enjoyed it. The whole flow, everything was just great. So as a fan, I give this movie a 10 out of 10 as a fan. Now, as someone who's just reviewing it as from a non-biased point of view, I would honestly give this movie about an 8.5 out of 10, because while it was great, it wasn't a perfect movie. They had, you know, a few issues, especially, like I said, overuses of certain characters, certain plot points. They were overused, certain things that felt empty to me, and, you know, just little different things. But other than that, overall, guys, fantastic movie. You're gonna have a lot of fun. I do recommend you going with a bunch of friends. I didn't go with a bunch of friends, but I felt like everyone in the theater were my friends, because we all laughed at the same jokes and we were all having a great time. So other than that, guys, you'll enjoy this. Go with a pack of friends, and you'll have a great time. Alrighty, guys, so that does it for my spoiler-free basic review of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I didn't go too deep into certain plots and everything, certain characters. I will go deeper in my spoiler review with Ryan O'Toole. He will be joining me on this channel to spoiler talk this Guardians of the Galaxy volume number 2. So I'll go a little bit deeper in that review. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe if you are new. Leave your comments down below if you have seen Guardians of the Galaxy volume 2. No spoilers, of course. And if you haven't seen it yet, let me know in the comments if you are interested in watching this movie. Like I said, I do recommend you go watching this movie. If you haven't seen the first one, go back and definitely watch the first one. You'll have a blast. And go back and watch the second one, and you'll enjoy your time. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Clockmaster out. Arrgh.